done everything right and everything was going okay for you compared to your teammate. So that my feeling at the time was it was fair, and Oscar said his part on the radio, made his points, and then complied with the team as well. And I didn't see either driver leaving Monza looking unhappy with the situation. And that's what McLaren have got to guard against. They want both drivers to be feeling that when the chips are down, the team are there for them as best as they possibly can be. And I don't see that either driver is going to feel any different.
It sparked a debate. I mean, it sparked a debate up and down the paddock. In fact, Toto Wolff was quite adamant. It sets a precedent. So, where does this end? As you pointed out to Nico, and it leads us on to a couple of nice questions about, well, that have been aimed at you. One from Charlie Gaze, one from Tono Villa Lobos, which would have been, let me just run through what Toto said. If it was down to you and Lewis in 2016, he said they were two assassins, fierce combatants, and they took no prisoners when they're racing against each other. So, not
fierce, Nico, fierce.
Yeah, what would you have done? Would you in 2016? And is it any different now? I don't think it's any different now, albeit that it's just a different era by 9 years. But would you have just said no to the team?
Simon, I'm an assassin, so I would have
I
would have pulled the radio plug and told them after the race, sorry, I didn't hear you guys. I'm just kidding, Simon. In actual fact, where the first step is it clearly defined in the rules, And I can tell you that it's not defined in the papaya rules because it's not something that you can put down in a rule. It's so hard because where's the cutoff point to that? If the other guy...
Hold on. Let me just stop you there then. But if this situation there where the car behind's under threat from the undercut, surely, they're going to define that if they're writing a set of rules to cover eventuality. Surely.
Yes, but Simon, the undercut is not what played the dice here. The undercut, everything worked out fine.
You think that was problem, just what they said?
No, the problem is just the time lost in the pit stop. It's not the undercut.
No, but that's what their excuse was, that they wanted. That's why they wanted to.
Anyway, Anyway, but let's go back to me and Lewis. Let's remember Monaco. We had very clear silver rules, not papaya rules, silver rules. If we risk losing the race win to a competitor, we need to work together as a team to secure the race win. Monaco Grand Prix 2016, I'm racing against Lewis for the championship. I'm second, he is third. And Ricciardo is disappearing in the distance because I'm too slow. So the team, there's a threat that we as a team are losing the race win. It's clear. So the team comes on the radio and tells me, you need to let Lewis pass because we might lose the race win here otherwise. So I moved over and waved him past. Because it was clearly defined, and that makes it, of course it's hard in the moment, but it's then clear and easy to understand, and you just got to do it. Lewis didn't do it in Abu Dhabi, which had the same situation. But also that is understandable that you would then, if you're an assassin, you want to try and maximize the gray areas. But anyways, it all depends how clearly it's written down in the rules. But you cannot write something like down in the rules because pit stop times are always a part of racing, and the team cannot assure that everybody's always going to have the same pit stop times. It's just like, at which point is it really unfair? Like, it's really hard. So anyway, McLaren, both ways were bad. McLaren chose the better way, which was to redo the positions like before, because they messed up as a team, and it's not fair to get involved in that way into the Drivers' Championship. So they took the route that was definitely better, but both routes were bad.
Lewis Hamilton tells Ferrari F1 chief Frederic Vasseur his target may be unachievable. Ferrari are the only top 4 Formula One team yet to win a Grand Prix this season, while Lewis Hamilton continues to wait for his first podium since joining from Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton admitted it will be a while before he will have the chance to end his Formula One podium drought. The 7-time champion has yet to finish a Grand Prix in the top 3 in this difficult maiden season as a Ferrari driver so far. But there have been signs of progress in the 2 weeks since the summer break. Having ended the first portion of the season at his lowest point since joining the Italian team, Hamilton has looked re-energized over the last 2 rounds at Zandvoort and Monza. At the latter circuit, he qualified 5th but started the race 10th due to a grid penalty he carried over from the previous Sunday. In front of the Tifosi, he managed to make progress on a circuit which makes overtaking difficult, crossing the line 6th. Team principal Frederic Vasseur said after the race that he felt it was only a matter of time until Hamilton started picking up some trophies for his efforts. "Yes, we can expect him to be on the podium," the Frenchman told reporters. But Hamilton offered a more cautious outlook as he suggested Ferrari still lacked the pace to compete for such a result. The Brit said, "I think overall our performance was fairly decent, but we obviously do not have the pace of the cars much further ahead. So, competing." Lewis Hamilton tells Ferrari F1 chief Frederic Vasseur his target may be unachievable. Ferrari are the only top 4 Formula One team yet to win a Grand Prix this season, while Lewis Hamilton continues to wait for his first podium since joining from Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton admitted it will be a while before he will have the chance to end his Formula One podium drought. The 7-time champion has yet to finish a Grand Prix in the top 3 in this difficult maiden season as a Ferrari driver so far. But there have been signs of progress in the 2 weeks since the summer break. Having ended the first portion of the season at his lowest point since joining the Italian team, Hamilton has looked re-energized over the last 2 rounds at Zandvoort and Monza. At the latter circuit, he qualified 5th but started the race 10th due to a grid penalty he carried over from the previous Sunday. In front of the Tifosi, he managed to make progress on a circuit which makes overtaking difficult, crossing the line 6th. Team principal Frederic Vasseur said after the race that he felt it was only a matter of time until Hamilton started picking up some trophies for his efforts. "Yes, we can expect him to be on the podium," the Frenchman told reporters. But Hamilton offered a more cautious outlook as he suggested Ferrari still lacked the pace to compete for such a result. The Brit said, "I think overall our performance was fairly decent, but we obviously do not have the pace of the cars much further ahead. So, competing for the top 3 is off the cards for a while, but we keep pushing and trying to extract more. This weekend built a lot on my confidence with the car, but definitely I am still not 100% comfortable in the car." At Monza, Ferrari were able to match or even beat the speeds of the McLarens ahead on the long straights. But they would lose time in the corners, especially Charles Leclerc in the early stages as he battled with Oscar Piastri for 3rd place and eventually overheated his tires as he chased the Australian. And so they had no chance of stopping race winner Max Verstappen, whose Red Bull was also lightning quick in the straights thanks to its lower downforce setup. But Hamilton felt they would have fared better overall had it not been for his grid penalty which split the 2 Ferrari cars. He added, "I am sure we did not have the pace of the McLarens and the Red Bulls. But I definitely think Charles and I, if we were together, we could have had a strong race and perhaps keeping up with, maybe trying to keep up more with the guys further ahead. I really do not know. I just think they were just too fast, the guys further ahead, but I definitely think we would have been 5th, 4th. Leclerc went into the weekend being compared to Ferrari legend Gilles Villeneuve, and briefly looked like he might finish on the podium after coming out ahead of Oscar Piastri in the opening phase of the race. That didn't last sadly, and he finished 4th. While Nico Rosberg praised the change he saw in Hamilton after the race as he made up 4 places to finish P6. Martin Brundle was commentating on the race and was keeping a close eye on the 7-time world champion's progress. Fred Vasseur admits Ferrari missed their target at the Italian Grand Prix. Ferrari's mechanics were privately satisfied with Leclerc and Hamilton's performances, even if the Scuderia have only enjoyed 2 victories at Monza since 2011. Team principal Fred Vasseur has been under pressure this season, although he's now signed a new deal that will see him lead Ferrari into the next era of the sport. Vasseur explained in his official post-race interview. Our target for today was to get Charles on the podium, but it was just out of reach. He had a strong race, with a good fight at the beginning, but that meant he overworked the tires a bit at this stage. In the end, we were not so far behind the McLarens, just 4 seconds, while Max was flying at the front.